Hello and welcome to this video on dividing fractions. If you haven't already done so, you really need to watch the videos on multiplying fractions before you look at this video. There's a really important rule that you need to remember when dividing fractions, and to help you understand that rule, I've got a couple of examples I'd like to show you. So thinking about this question, okay, really straightforward question. 15 divided by 3 is 5, okay, but how else could we think about this question? Well, we can ask ourselves, how many 3's in 15? Now, look at the way that that question is ordered. You've got the question, how many 3's are in 15? But look at the way that this question is actually written. It's 15 divided by 3. So the 15 comes before the 3. But in the worded question here, the 3 comes before the 15. But it's really important to know that this question here, 15 divided by 3, is the same as asking how many 3's in 15. Now, why is this important? It's important for the following reasons. Look at this question. How many 50p coins are there in £5? Now, hopefully you will know that two 50p's make a pound. So there are that's £1, £2, £3, £4, £5. So how many 50p coins are there in £5? Well, there are 10, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But how would we write this question using numbers? Well, we would say this. This is actually how many 50p's are there in £5, and there are 10. Another way of saying it is this. How many 50p's are there, or how many £half are there in £5, and there are 10. So all these questions are are different ways of saying the same thing. But again, I want you to notice that the £5 is actually at the front. Even though I'm saying how many 50p coins are there in £5, the 5 actually comes first. How many 50p's are there in £5? It's like the opposite of what you'd think it is. So what does this actually mean? Well, as you can see here, this question gives the answer 10. But where does 10 come from? Well, it's most clear from this way of writing the question. Can you see where the answer 10 might have come from by just looking at the numbers on the left? Where could you get 10 from? Well, hopefully you can see that 10 comes from doing this number multiplied by this number. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. How does this why is this important to dividing fractions? Well, because it's a really important rule, and it's the keep, swap, flip rule. Okay, so this question, we've just had that question, 5 divided by half is equal to 10. In other words, how many 50p's are there in £5? But how do we get the answer 10? Well, we decided that we were multiplying this number by this number to get this number. So where does my rule come in then? Well, my rule comes in as follows. We keep the first part the same. That has not changed. 5 can be written as 5 over 1. You can write any whole number as a fraction over 1. So we keep that the same. We swap this sign, so we swap the division for a multiplication, and we flip this final part. And then, because we know how to multiply fractions, we just multiply across the top, we get 10, and we multiply across the bottom. 1 times 1 is just 1. And 10 over 1 is exactly the same as 10. So let's apply this rule now. We keep the first bit the same, keep that the same, swap this sign and flip the last bit. Keep, swap, flip. When we're multiplying fractions, you just multiply across the top. 8 times 5 is 40. And multiply across the bottom. 1 times 2 is 2. And then this question here, 40 over 2, just means 40 divided by 2. And 40 divided by 2 is 20. So 20 is your final answer. Let's have a quick look back to this question again. It says, this question basically says, how many 2/5 are there in 8 whole cakes? Okay, how many 2/5 are there in 8 whole cakes? So yeah, it makes sense that there are 20 2/5 in 8 cakes. Again, keep the first fraction the same. 7 is the same as 7 over 1. Swap the division sign and flip this last part. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and this becomes 21 divided by 2, and 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. 10.5 or 10.5. So this question is basically saying how many 2/3 are there in 7 whole cakes, and there are 10.5 2/3 in 7 cakes. Keep this the same, keep, swap, flip, but now we've got this as a fraction, 4/9, keep, swap, flip. Now it's really important that you remember that this is 5 over 1, so the flip of it is 1/5. 4 times 1 is 4, and 9 times 5 is 45. So your final answer there is 4/45. Keep this the same, swap that, and flip this. Well, this is 11 over 1, so the flip of it is 1 over 11. Multiply across the top, 7 times 1 is 7. Multiply across the bottom, 8 times 11 is 88. 7/88 is that answer to number 4. When you've got two fractions like this, nice and easy, keep, swap, flip. Multiply across the top and the top, 1 times 6 is 6. Multiply across the bottom, 2 times 5 is 10. And you can simplify this to 3/5. Example 6, keep, swap, flip. 4 times 7 is 28. 5 times 3 is 15. And you can leave it like that, or you can change it into a mixed number if you like. This would be 1 and 13/15. You just respond to what your question asks. If it says give your answer in a mixed number, then do so. Example 7, keep, swap, flip. 2 times 11 is 22. 9 times 3 is 27. Example 8, Penny the pony eats 2/3 of a bale of hay each day. How many days will 12 bales of hay last her? Well, this is where the question and the way that you write the question is really important. If it's saying how many days will 12 bales of hay last her, it's like saying how many 2/3 are there in 12. Okay, and this is the only way that this question can be written. It has to be written like this, 12 divided by 2/3. It cannot be written as 2/3 divided by 12 because it will give you a very different answer. Okay, it cannot be that. It is also not the same as asking this question here. It's not the same as asking 2/3 of 12. Okay, 2/3 of 12 be 8. That is not the answer to this question. So this is saying how many 2/3 can you get out of 12 bales of hay? That's basically saying that will basically tell you the answer to how many days this 12 bales will last her. So we keep this the same. Keep, swap, flip, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 36 divided by 2 is 18. So the 12 bales of hay will last Penny the Pony 18 days. Example 8, Harry the Hare eats 1 1/4 carrots each day. How many days will 12 carrots last him? Again, crucial that it's basically written this way round. How many 1 1/4s are in 20? Must be written that way round. Not the other way around. Not 1 1/4 divided by 20. Very, very different question. Not that one over there. So this is keep, swap, flip. Make sure you change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So this becomes 20 divided by 5/4, because 5/4 is 1 1/4 as an improper fraction. Keep, swap, flip. This becomes 80 divided by 5, which is 16. So, how many days will 20 carrots last him? 16. Again, ask yourself if it makes sense. If he's eating more than 1 whole carrot a day, then it makes sense that 20 carrots will last him less than 20 days because he's eating more than 1 carrot each day. Example 10, the McVitie's family eat 1 2/3 packets of biscuits each day. They buy a bulk order of 45 packets of biscuits. Will they have enough packets to last them for the month of September? Really, really typical exam question. You need to know how many days September has in it. Okay, so I recommend that you learn the rhyme 30 days hath September, April, June and November. All the rest have 31. Okay, so 30 days hath September. So you're basically asking if they buy 45 packets of biscuits, how many 1 2/3 are there in 45? So how many 1 2/3 are in 45? Must be written this way around, not 1 2/3 divided by 45, 45 divided by 1 2/3. So keep, swap, flip. Now, I'm just going to do 1 2/3. Of course, I'm going to write it over here is 5/3. Okay, so just remember that. That is 5/3. So the flip of it would be 3/5. Okay, and then multiply across the top. 45 multiplied by 3 is 135. And 135 divided by 5 is 27. So 45 packets of biscuits would only last them 27 days. Okay, so no, the family would not have enough packets for September, okay, because they've only got enough to last them 27 days. The answer to this question is no, they would not have enough packets to last them, and you can't just put no, you've got to show some working to evidence that. Okay, here are some questions for you to have a go at yourself. So pause the video now, have a go at these, and come back to have a look at the answers. I'll just move that up a little bit there so you can see it. Okay, so there are some questions you have a go at. Have a go at them, and then resume the video to see the answers. And here are the answers. Well done for having a go at those.